Hello everyone, not Northern European here. Today we are going back to the roots of the channel as the unfunny racist mod made out of complete boredom has been updated. And oh boy, it's a doozy. So without further ado, let's start. We start on the Tram like the usual Half-Life playthrough and everything is normal. Well, at least for the crack life standards. We get into the HIV suit, do the side quest where the scientist wants to return to Monkey, and from it we obtain the scimitar. The real game begins once we cause the resonant cascade, because we are not awakened in the ruined facility. No. The year 2025 has arrived and Zen is now inhabited by a herd of those fucking ugly scientists rushing from Black Mesa. Desperate for investments, Black Mesa has allowed Dr. Oetker, a major frozen pizza brand, to establish his own city in Zen. And it flourished. Vortigans of color rejoice as they no longer had to live off food stamps. However, everything changed when the original Wagner attacked. They infiltrated Zen and established an army of pizza delivering mercenary grunts. War erupted, plunging Zen into chaos. And to control the situation, Black Mesa has called in a relative of Gordon Freeman, Fordon Greenman, killing machine, who wiped out 69,000 grunts. However, beyond Zen, there is a secret conspiracy to overthrow both of the frozen pizza lords and to drive out the dogs from Black Mesa. We're finally awake in Xenbabwe, country surrounded by other fictional countries like the Void Sea, Varenfell, or Bosnia. We are transported by a chicken jockey to Guantanamo because we quit our job at SCP Foundation. After that we are put into YouTube jail with Jay Station trying to summon his lawyer at 3 AM in the opposite cell. Shortly after that, Dr. Oetker himself arrives to bust us out. Or not, because the hidden chamber is in the cell of that funny guy over there this time around. And after resigning to our fate and starting to count the amount of pixels in our cell, a gentleman comes out and allows us to make a prison break. The first chapter of the mod welcomes us in the most sophisticated place you could ever ask for, namely the New York sewers. We encounter mostly headcrab and headcrab zombies out foreground their barbaric roots and are using muskets and pistols to defend their place of residence, just as the founding fathers intended. There are also bullsquids who are driven by an Isekai Los Santos Vagos member. Along the way we obtain handguns and get introduced to the diabolical concept of money. That would be correct, Tavarish. Capitalism has infested even this part of the Node universe, for better or for worse. The goal of this section is to overload the pumps, which results in an epic escape sequence, getting us a shotgun along the way. This one, as is the case with the one from Doom 2's Three Weapons Back, is a little bit broken and needs to be punched first in order to work, as well as change its fire mode, cycling from acids to crossbow bolts to explosions and sparks. After closing 50,000 pipes and exploring the sewers, we emerge on the surface of Xenbabwe, where Wagner mercenaries are committing genocide against Vortigans of color. Those two compared to the vanilla are pretty much the same. The only real change is that the grunts throw cans on Pepis, which don't do anything because it's not Coca-Cola, espuma. Meeting the devil itself and a little key hunting later, they've had a Black Mesa scientist who's willing to help us reach the bus. Of course not before grabbing us by testicles and injecting us with liquefied processed ham. With his help, we get into the crazy bus driven by Dreamable, who buses us to the town of Autismtown. Autismtown is one of two hubs in the mod and it's pretty serviceable. It has scientists driving on mopeds, a mall where you can get illegally distributed goods like the Sayori gun, or eat Oetker pizza prepared by Vortigant workers. There's also the Black Market where you can get our long lost scimitar back. And I gotta say, for a single player Half-Life mod, a seamless hub system is fairly unique. And outside of brutal Half-Life, I can't recall any kind of a recent big mod having such a system. That's probably because every single mod focuses on being a masterpiece, or so Half-Life YouTubers told me, I'm not exactly sure. Whilst exploring the town, we come across one of the side quests, and this one revolves around running across an infected area delivering the goods. And by goods I mean frozen pizzas was being chased around by Frank Horrigan and a horde of scientists that want you to get vaccinated. By the way, skyboxes look a little bit funny, especially considering that season 2 is currently releasing at the time of writing the script. And also voicing. And editing. With that said and done, we can observe crimes against humanity, buy some shit like the crossover? And partake in an endless debate between phone consumers and how female armpit inspector app is instrumental to phone's inner workings. In the absolute cinema, we get another side mission, which is a Neighbours from Hell pastiche. By that I mean we have to find a way to make our neighbors' lives miserable, but in a wholesome chungus way, like installing League of Legends on his computer or drawing a big member on the board because we are still in the 5th grade apparently. With all those preparations, we are ready to go on an adventure through the Xenbabwe railway system towards Dr.Oetker's castle, which has a more billion Wagner mercenaries who are pursuing us on scooters from well-stacked Pizza Co. And my advice is to simply not engage them and sleep on the floor like an average homeless person in New York, because all the benches have spikes now. At long last we reach the castle and the man himself says that the dark ages have arrived, as a Twitch titty streamer curses noble workers and knights, turning them into a private army of simps. And as a red-pilled chat who never felt a touch of a woman before, it is our job to put an end to her tyranny. Simps are generally divided into two categories, melee and ranged, with the former attacking with their crossbows, making them easily avoidable if you just strafe. With the courtyard cleared, we can proceed into the inner castle and... oh no, we have been captured. And it appears that Oetker wasn't telling us the full story, as the thought is...
You are nothing but a usurper, a false idol. Let me help you to see.
With hairline dead more than the idea of this video being actually monetized, we proceeded to another chamber, where it is revealed that the streamer was actually working for Bogdanov, who wants to put an end to the reigns of both Wagner and Oetker, and we'll help with him because he said so. In exchange, we receive Dr. 3310, which we can use to call Bogdanov at any time we want and request a drop of bullets, health kits, or an There is no limit to where and how many things you can call in, but considering that I'm an epic gamer who always plays on hard, or Crack Life Professional as it is called in here, I'm going to need every help I can get. After signing the pact with Bogdanov and making every single sip die of cringe because of we're spot back right into Autismtown, with the objective of getting rid of Wagner once and for all, and for that we need to travel through West Virginian wastes and Appalachian forests. Also shout out to the council that is kinda floating in the void. Calmest Appalachian hike chapter opens really strongly, with the music that makes you want to sprint across Outer Ring with Rain of Fire spell to get rid of the Orc siege. And right after we are assaulted by the forest scientists. Those bozos went feral and will attack anyone on sight, which would be fine, but their spears deal damage over time, which I admit isn't the end of the world, but the problem is that there's only one place in the whole mod where antitoxins are, and ferals are as common as boomers making barbecue on summer days. There are also some ferals that throw molotovs that thank god are exclusive to the forest area, as fighting them is literally green hell. Eventually we make our way towards the tunnels, ready to get an embarrassing amount of time to turn on the power, because I needed to watch an instruction tape to become forklift certified, made by a guy who's not been hiding his forklift fetish. Solving this extremely difficult puzzle introduces us to a new enemy, Bunnies with Doors. This, dear viewer, is a subtle reference to Pink Valley, where in order to progress you had to kill soldiers with assault shields. This shows how dark and disturbing Crack Life Anniversary campaign mode is. Next room offers us the parkour challenge, accompanied by a Reddit copypaste about Anissa and her no-name husband, showing how far-reaching the creators of this mod are, not only choosing to spat out N-word every 3 seconds, but also to get something more refined. Once we are done with the platforming section, which dragged on for a little bit too long, we end up in Autismvillage, a village under a tyrannical reign of Wagner frozen pizza. There are 2 side quests available here, one where you defend against endless waves of zombies whilst waiting for your companions to build a train, and the other one where you throw beer cans for some rewards in a very janky minigame, and those two do not work very well. The first one allows you to use the metro system to go back and forth from Autismtown to Autismvillage, but there's no point in coming back to Autismtown, so what's the point really? And the other one is, well, I think you can figure out this one yourself. It's a goddamn physics minigame on Gold Source. But hey, at least we gain access to Tescopivo, which works in a pretty similar way to Crackpipe from Postal 2, but without the risk of getting a withdrawal and suffering a heart attack. After leaving the village and our quest to burn down Ram Ranch and hunt down 18 naked cowboys, we stumble upon the steppes, and where the steppes are there are Mongolians, or as it is in our case, Hungarians with bows riding on gonarchs. closer to the ranch, we encounter a bunny who tells us that the farm has been obstructed by the opposing force and we need to use the pee-pee-poo-poo cave to bypass the blockade. As it turns out, the cave system is in an all-out war between the ferals and monkeys, making our passage a little bit more bearable as there's a lot of infighting going on. And whilst on the topic of the caves, this castle area could have been telegraphed a little bit better. Not saying that there should be a big go here idiot sign, but you know, some sort of a light or something like that. With that done and dusted with, we come across a suspiciously arena-shaped room and...
Africa?
Oh. No
Hello.
fucking way, they
you
put
doing?
a goddamn cave troll in this mod! Mark Vikenes is the boss of this section, and he's not that difficult to take down, as his main power of being cringe and a recent weird tabletop RPG games is not applicable here. His attacks are the lunge, molotovs, and grappling hook, to which, after pulling us, proceeds to stab us 23 times. After slaying the giant, we obtain access to a Skyrim ward wall, which gives us access to the N-word pass. But more importantly, the Fordon Greenman's diary, the most powerful weapon in the game. This one kills everything in a pretty short radius and has an extremely cursed furry copy paste on its right side. It also has extremely interesting sounds attached to it, let's just say that. Ram Ranch really rocks as a set piece. There are about 10 groups of naked cowboys that we have to pull under. To assist us with this, we can destroy suspiciously placed explosive crates to reveal caves full of feral scientists and Mongolians, and also blow up the buildings, but that's beside the point. After cleaning the ranch, we proceed further into the facility where Wagner is creating their pizzas, which ends in a holdout section against the grunts. Thankfully, the designers of this base made a special room to camp so we are not getting railed by 18 naked cowboys from 2 different directions. After a daring raid, we are caught by Wagner's leader. He takes us on board his Osprey, and after a brief interrogation attempt, and no one cared who I was until I put on the suit. Later, we crash the plane and such, ending the Wagner involvement in Xenbabwe without ever mentioning Wagner Group in you. Fuck! After getting berated by Dr.Oetker for betraying him, we go down to the metro system where we board one of the cars and are assaulted by flying skibidi toilets. And I say it's probably the most infuriating part of the mod, as G-toilets aren't fun to fight. Period. Even more so when you don't have any cover or space to maneuver around. After that, we have a cool puzzle with a gentleman and a turret whose AI has been based off of kids from Modern Warfare 2 lobbies. Headcrab has to get to the lever and we have to provide cover for it. The final stretch of the game is mostly corridor fighting against mostly cybernetic scientists and Barneys, meaning that sometime after we terminate their connection, they spontaneously combust. This, along with the claustrophobic level design that makes mods like Azul Ship blush, makes the labs as exciting as 100% in Yakuza 5. In the middle of this chapter, we find a cooperating person who is willing to help us to get closer to Dr.Oetker, who is, by the way, constantly taunting us, Half-Life 2 Green style, if you know what I mean. After finding the skibidi mechs, we eventually land in a lab which has very interesting sectors, which we are not very interested in, as we need the key that we can obtain in the Microsoft Support Center, which is mostly staffed by Indian scammers who scream about not redeeming the card. The key opens up the door to the ultimate killing machine, Cyber George Floyd. After that relatively short section where Floyd helps us to clear out the endlessly spawning security guards, we are brought to the endgame where we meet none other than Dr.Oetker himself. Just like any good villain, before we start, he reveals his evil plan. He wants to use the skibidi forces to cover the world in brain earth, and as such the world will start consuming the frozen product again. And of course, as protagonists, we can't allow this to happen.
And so, the absolute madman who cheated death in Black Mesa's test chamber, cheated death once again, and then was forever changed. Having wrecked the entire pizza delivering arm of original Wagner, Ram Ranch was forever abandoned. With its empty showers, Ram Ranch was cursed eternally to not rock. Slowly, it succumbed to nature. Autismvillage, no longer under the protection of original Wagner, had to fend for itself. With not enough manpower to spare, they have united under Autismtown under one government. With the death of Dr.Oetker, Autismtown has suffered a power vacuum. But before any stupid-ass shit could start, Bogdanovs and his crypto mafia have seized the city. It's ruled with an iron but fair fist. The Black Mesa administration, hearing that they lost control over all of Xen, started seething and molding over the fact. With no pizza to import, the facility collapsed to anarchy and was slowly consumed by the desert. And so, Greenman's road came to an end. For now. In the new Xen, no frozen pizzas were made, and everyone started boofing on that dank vortigaunt anti-meta nihilif Xen spore kush. They basically continued to be restarted just like in the old Xen.
And so, that was Croc-Life Campaign Mode Anniversary Edition. Definitely one of the most of all time. Unlike the original mod, I feel like this wasn't just made to be a time capsule of the edgy pre-apocalypse humor, but to entertain. Because, well, not gonna lie, despite it being subpar if it comes to level design, Croc-Life manages to still be fun because of the absurd scenario it throws at you. And so, for the final rating, I give Croc-Life Campaign Anniversary Edition 20 Indian Scammers out of 3 Pivo cans.